everybody. At least I can talk today. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm trying to get back to you as much as I can. I just have been, it's really not good. Anyways, I've been in hospital. I've still got my bruises. Where are they? Oops. Still got my bruises. They poked me so many times. I'm just like a pincushion. These gastroparesis flares are, wow. Kind of forgot a little bit what they were feeling like until they hit me again. And they've hit me in a bad way because I ended up having bacterial infection in my stomach. And so it's still there. And it's knocking me on my off my feet, which isn't so nice. Since we are in August and we are in gastroparesis month, awareness month, it's quite apropos that I'm having gastroparesis flares. My body's way of saying, saluting everybody who has gastroparesis out there. Whew. It has been a little rough, I have to say. I've had a hard time keeping down liquids, and I've started to regiment myself because when I was in the hospital, I was over a week, and it was liquids, like solids, like liquids, because I could not keep anything down. Got home, and it was more liquids, and I tried some solids, a little bit here and there. Not much, and then all of a sudden, batum, that was back into it again. So I'm back into my ondansetron and my medications and everything that I take, the same medications that they give me in the hospital IV. I'm taking orally, and that's kind of rough because when your belly's feeling sick, it's kind of hard because it wants to come back up, and if it does that, then that's a problem because you can't continue to take more medication and more medication because you don't know how much you're absorbing and how much is coming back up. So anyways, long story short, something I want to do, that I have said I want to do, which I finally figured out a way how to do it, and that's to, without changing my channel, but changing, or adding, I should say, a permanent tag, if you will, on the subject line that would encompass everything chronic illness. Chronic illness, there's a word for that, and it's called a spoonie. And a spoonie I am. Cheers to my fellow spoonies. A spoonie is when you are given, you have a certain amount of spoons in a day. People who are well have an infinite number of spoons in a day that they can use to do whatever they want. But a spoonie, we have a certain amount of spoons in a day. And we can only use them doing certain things. And our spoons may be less on certain days. We have to be careful on how we use our spoons, because if we overdo it, then we become sicker. At least I become sicker. So I have to use my spoons wisely. And that's what a spoonie is. And long story short, explaining it, that's what a spoonie is. And there is a whole world out there of spoonies that I'm going to bring to you. And I'm going to educate you on spoonies. Spoonies are chronic illness suffers with many types of diseases, chronic illness diseases. And since I have my share of chronic illness diseases, I have a whole bunch of them. Starting a whole bunch of different things for each one of them would be mind-blowing, honestly, because even my doctors even my doctors are like, wow, this poor girl. It gets to be a bit much after a while, because wow. And if it's a bit much for them, can you imagine me, how much it is for me? And I can imagine how much it is to listen to, because there's so much. So I'm trying to categorically figure this one out. And so that's how I've done it. There's spoonies, there's zebras, there's a whole world of us that you may not know about. But we're here. And every day we're here. And every day we have our spoons. And every day they may be less or they may be more, depending on our days. And a lot of days now, my spoons are less. And I've got to figure out, okay, somebody said, and it was my bestie who lives in the U.S., and she said, I can't remember to whom, but how long it takes me to get ready to take a bath and get cleaned up, to put on makeup, do my hair, put on clothes. It takes well over 5 hours just to do that. That's a lot of time just to do that. When previously, when I was well, I'd take half an hour, maximum half an hour. Something that took me half an hour now takes over 5. People will look at me and say, well, she looks good. You know, what's wrong with her? This is the problem. We may look good on the outside. Of course we want to look good. Everybody wants to look good. Nobody wants to look bad. But it takes us a lot to do that. And do you know how many spoons I blow through just doing that? A lot. Sometimes to the point where I've blown through so many spoons just doing that, I fall asleep. I get all dressed up and I get all make-upped up just to fall asleep because I'm so exhausted. It was so taxing on me. I used up all my spoons just for that. So I've really got to be careful. And when I do exercise, I've got to really be careful with that too, and the amount of time I spend doing it. So when I'm showing something on how I do it, I'm not doing this for any great length of time. I'm doing it for a time that I'm able to handle, my body is able to handle. And I'm doing it because of my lungs, and for my osteoarthritis, and for my rheumatoid arthritis, and for my all the inflammation that's happening in my body. So I need to move. So that's going to cost some spoons too. There's also a lot of us, and when I say when we have our makeup on and we look halfway decent, there's the invisibles. The invisibles meaning that you don't see what's happening inside. You have no idea, but I do. I feel it. And so I know when I'm just not doing so good. But you may not know that. There's a lot of times where I'm not, obviously, because I'm not posting and I don't have the energy to talk. It's exhausting for me. I don't have enough spoons in my day to do it. So I apologize for that, because I'd really, really like to tell you how things are going and to communicate that with you, because it's important to communicate that. Trust me. Wow. There's nothing more I know more than how important it is to communicate awareness, because there's people out there who are going through things that are similar, that are stuck in a rut or don't know any better and are looking for information or looking for answers or looking for help in any way that they can find it, any age group. And where do they go? And what do they do? So I know there's a lot of groups out there. There's the Mighty. The Mighty is a phenomenal. I've educated, when I've gone to hospitals, I've educated the nurses. And they said, oh, thank you. I've educated them on ileostomies, on what to do when they have to change somebody's ileostomy pouch. And they say it never sticks. And because when I'm in the hospital, I bring my heating pad with me. Always. Because when I have to change my pouch and I'm in the hospital, number one, I have to bring all my supplies, with me, because they don't have the supplies that fit me. So I carry a big bag with me. It's called the big bag. Seriously. Everybody loves the color too. It's fuchsia and it's orange, and it's called the big bag. And it zips up, and I put everything in the big bag. And so everybody sort of looks at me when I have to go to the hospital, and they're like, wow, this is a huge bag. And I'm like, yes, it is, because I have to bring so much with me. I bring a lot with me. I have to worry about all my medication, because a lot of the times they don't have my medication in the pharmacy, so they can't bring it up to me on the floor. So I have to take my own medication. A lot of time, well, like I said, they don't have my supplies for my ileostomy, proper supplies. And so I explained to them, we had a conversation, I think it's weird hours in the morning when I'm there. We have conversations with the nurses, and that when I'm in pain, they come into my room and they sit on the bed, or they sit and talk with me. And they're awesome. I love them all. So this one time, I educated a number of nurses, and on this particular fact: when you change a pouch in a hospital and you're a nurse, I'm going to give this fact to you. Factoid. Every time you change it, they always leak. I'm told that by all the nurses that have done changes. They always leak. They're like, it's so frustrating, Michelle. They always leak. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, we change it and we have to rechange it and change it again because it's always leaking. And I said, well, do you put any type of heat on it to adhere, for the adhesion, so it can seal, it can get a good seal? And they're like, no, I just put just a hand on it. And I said, that's not enough. It's not enough. Your hand is not hot enough to get a good seal for that ring, the sear ring or whatever ring that you're using, or even the paste. It's not enough to get that seal that you want on your flange. to your pouch. It just won't seal properly. And of course, yeah, I said, it'll lift and you've got a leak. And they're like, that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. And I said, mm-hmm. So I said, I suggest to you, go get some warm blankets and give it to the patient, or you can put it on the patient and put it snugly onto their stoma, and just hold it there for 15 minutes and continue. If you have to change it out where it's warm, continually warm for 15 minutes, then do that. And I said, once you've done that, you're going to find a world of difference, that it won't leak. Trust me. So they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. I didn't know that. I had no idea. And I said, well, that's why. Because it doesn't adhere. So it just breaks apart, and there you go. Causes a leak. Not fun. And it's not fun for the patient either, because then they've got to pull that flange back off of the skin, and then it causes either contact dermatitis underneath it, or abrasion, or whatnot, because you're wrecking the skin every time you do that. Another thing I told them was about the Mighty. And the Mighty is a place where you can go and talk about any group, anything. You can put in anything that you suffer, say depression or cancer, or have an ileostomy or anything like that, and you key it in, and you can join these groups all over the place, and they're tailor-made specifically for you, for migraines or anything like that, and they're people that suffer the same things as you. So you can have conversations with people that are like-minded and that suffer the same things as you. And if you have questions and whatnot, and you can ask the group, has anybody tried this, or has anybody tried that? Tried and true things. And there's information that they can help you out with. Also, I follow people on YouTube that I find very helpful, very uplifting, and with information and whatnot. So I try things that they've said. It's a wonderful community of, it's a large community, and it's a wonderful community, and a caring and loving community who help people through very difficult and challenging times. And some a heck of a lot more challenging than others. And age-wise, it could be from baby all the way up to 92. It's no limit when we're talking about spoonies or zebras or chronically ill. It's no limit. It affects everyone. It affects them differently, yes, but it affects everyone. And some are more serious than others, absolutely. When I have gastroparesis flares, mine are serious. Mine are very serious, and I end up in hospital, because not only do I have exceptionally excruciating pain in my belly and in my intestine, but I also now have in my large colon, because it is decommissioned, my large colon spasms. It goes into these endless spasms, and it doesn't stop. So you may be somebody who suffers the same thing. I don't know, but if you do, boom, Bob's your uncle. Know that there's people out there that understand and that get it. And I use a heating pad. I grab my heating pad. I fill ice bottles. I fill bottles in with water, and I put them in the freezer, and I grab them when I need them, and I put them on my belly or wherever I need them, and it's like a cold pack. I bring them wherever I can. At the hospitals, they don't have really great cold packs, so bing. I learned to travel with a lot of things that'll help me in the long run. Things that you may not think of. And so that's why I say I'm here to educate, and I'm here to help in any way I can, because I know what it's like being a fellow Spoonie. I know what it's like. I know what you go through. Like I said, some people have it worse than others. And I'm here to educate those who don't go through this, so that if they have a Spoonie in their life, if they have a zebra in their life, you can help them and you know what to look for. So, you know, sometimes that may be just holding their hand, or just being with them. But you know what to do. I hear so many comments. I wish this or I wish that. It's hard to see people who are sick. Yes, it is. Old, young alike. It definitely is. I agree with you. I looked after my dad for years before he passed. And I agree with you. It is so very hard. But you have to do that. When you love somebody, you take care of them. And you do everything you possibly can because you love that person. Whether it's your family, your friend, your people who you love. You do whatever you can. So that's what the channel is going to be. It's going to still be Sicky Girl, but there's going to be Life as a Spoonie. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Like and subscribe and follow, and hopefully we're going to talk to you soon, because I'm trying to get myself ready for the mud run. That's going to be tough.